Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome to Thursday, Spiritual Matters Thursdays here at the Daily Huddle. I am your host, Dr. Monica Ogando, and I'm so excited that you're here today because we're going to talk practical matters. Spiritual matters sometimes gets confused with non-practical, non-real world applications. And today we're going to be talking about how to actually implement your spirituality in a very practical way with a very special guest. Our lovely Giovanni Gonzalez is here with us. Insert applause, special effects. So let's get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. I have poured myself an amazing glass of high quality H2O in a very fancy glass. This is how we do it, because we're a non-alcoholic household. So we drink out of fancy glasses when it's H2O. So in order for us to get grounded in this now moment and well hydrated, I want to ask, for example, Cece is here. Cece, how are you? And what are you grateful for today?
I am amazing, and I'm grateful to be present today. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Very good. Stan is also here. Welcome, Stan. Where are you, Stan? And who are you hugging today?
I am right here on the Daily Huddle with my Daily Huddle family, and I'm gonna hug my wife today. I think she especially needs a really, really powerful hug today, and I'm gonna give her that 20-second hug at least.
Yes, the oxytocin hug. I love it. That's fantastic. Good stuff. And Chase is also here. Chase, what time is it?
Grand Rising, Doctor. The time is right now. There is no other time but the present.
That the present indeed. I am very thankful for all of you being here with us today. And, I know that we see Giovanni almost every day here at the Daily Huddle, but I'm going to have him introduce himself. I just want you to think in the back of your mind, because I couldn't pull it up. I couldn't figure it out. Imagine that we have a little audio clip of Jay-Z in his song when he says, "Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hov." Okay, that clip, imagine we had it, and now we're going to introduce Giovanni. Giovanni, I know people see you here every day, but tell the people what you do and how you serve the world.
Thank you. Good morning. Great to be with you, Monica, and everyone at the Daily Huddle. I love being here. And every now and then I get to be a guest, and it is just as exciting, and in some degree creates this sense of being nervous. For some reason. I don't know why, but it does. What I do, the question is what I do a little bit, Monica?
Yeah. Tell us about your professional life.
My professional life, so maybe for a little bit over 10 years now, well, for about 12 years, I've been in the industry of leadership development and training, leadership training and management training. And it involves empowering people, training people in new skills to communicate effectively and to actively listen and to create high-performing teams around them and to connect people to the structures that elevate organizations in a manner in which people are not resisting it. Companies are always changing, things are always changing, structures are always changing. And although we all know that, and although we all say something like change is always constant, is the only constant, human beings are very rather resistant to that. Human beings resist change all the time. And so in an organization, change or optimization is critical. But my humanity or our humanity resists change. So my job, and I do this along with Sorel many times, is to empower people to create high-performing teams and to train people on leadership development and communication skills.
I love that, especially the communication skills. That's very near and dear to my heart. I've developed some communications framework, so I always love talking with you about this because we get to nerd out. We get to nerd out, and today is no different. Today we are nerding out on a very specific question: how can, and maybe even how does, spirituality empower your business? And I would love to hear your answer to that question, Giovanni, or how you grappled with that question.
Yeah, how does spirituality empowers my business? And for me, I think that I heard a long time ago, and I don't know who it was that I heard it from, but the last person I heard it was from Tony Robbins, but the initial person I don't remember, and who said, business is the spiritual journey. And when I heard that for the first time, it really created for me this context for me to be that really empowered me, because given how difficult it is, if you will, businesses, and the constant reinvention, and constantly dealing with rejection, and constantly strategies don't work as well as I wanted to, or there's expectations, or there is a client that did not have a fulfilled expectation, or my own unfulfilled expectations. There is this roller coaster of emotions that are in a business, and how real that has been for me when I saw the possibility of seeing it as a spiritual journey as well. Mm-hmm. Then it brought for me a kind of peace of mind. Like I no longer was looking for the right strategy, or to achieve the goal, or become better, or be recognized, or it no longer became about the usual business games, but it became about my own growth, my own spiritual growth. What did I learn from this? How can this be useful? Why did this happen? Why was it for me? Even though it could have been a big failure. And so so the journey of a business, that it's a real challenge for most of us, became for me, it became a journey where I'm always constantly growing the spiritual aspect of life. And that became really juicy. My relationships became a lot better at work. My relationship with my clients became a lot better at work. When one of the things that I've got trained a lot, and I hear a lot, and I train others a lot, is to make sure that you work with the clients that really you like, and you like what they're up to, and you like what they're doing, and you like how they treat their employees, and you like their mission. And look for the clients that are already looking for you, but also that you connect with them spiritually. So I don't have a banner that asking for people, what is your spiritual inclination? No, not at all, but I can feel it. It's like, oh, I like this business, I like where these people are going, and they can feel it from me. And merging both worlds has been a real peace of mind for me. Yeah.
Did it, was it always peace of mind though, or was there a time when you grappled with, this seems contradictory? The reason I ask, before you answer, the reason I ask is because in my experience, people sometimes grapple with, there are certain spiritual principles that aren't practical in the real world. This idea of, like in the Bible, for example, turn the other cheek. It's like, no, I need my check and I'm going to sue you, right? Or another example of always, like being your word and being impeccable with your word, as Dr. Miguel Zuri is popularized in his book, The Four Agreements. And in the business world, that seems naive. It's like, no, get it in writing. Put that in a contract, sign that piece of paper, right? So was there ever a phase where you felt like imbuing your business with spirituality felt like an exercise in futility, like naive or innocent or ill-guided?
Yeah, one of the things that I love about business is that it's a game without rules, and it's a
Yeah.
game with rules.
Yeah.
There's a certain aspects of rules that are inherited, and sometimes I think a lot of people look at businesses and they try to model either their best competition or the best companies out there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so corporations have become kind of a model for people, but it's not business. It's just how they have to grow. In some degree, they need to grow. But at a certain point in the journey of a business person, we, at least for me, I kind of discovered that there's no rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am empowered by certain, I use for myself certain aspects of businesses that are critical, like contracts. And thank God in the United States have contracts, because in some countries there are no contracts, and then it's only the part of the word, and most people's word is really weak.
Yeah.
So I love contracts, and I love the aspect that I can bring a lawyer and I can, be with somebody in a courtroom and just hold people accountable what they said they were going to do. And if they don't have, and if we don't have that in writing, then then the case is weak. And all of that aspects is something that my business and businesses are empowered by that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, even though I have that as my toolbox, I don't lead that way. I do find within my business and my team and with my clients, and we have contracts and we have all of that, I do find a way to speak authentically exactly how I see things.
Mm-hmm.
And how I see the business case. And I don't no longer, I really used to, only look for a long time, how do I get the sale, or how do I grow year after year,
Mm-hmm.
and all these metrics that are important. I no longer I no longer connect to that business case. I really like the spiritual aspect of the business, where, well, let me really hear what this business needs. Let me really discover the fear that the business owner has or this manager has. Let me see how the structure of the team is really holding people up from being free to be at work, to love work. Most people spend more time at work than they spend at home. And most work environments are not really they're not mindful of that if I could create an environment where people love what they do, they connect to a mission, then people are willing to stay there a lot longer, because it's not like that anywhere else. And so I use all this kind of principles I'm pointing to lead my business case. And when there's a feeling like, oh, this is not right, this doesn't feel right, I find a way to say it that way, and let people be free to choose a different direction. I choose a different direction. I create kind of my own rules. And thank God that there's contracts and there's agreements, because certainly there are times when it's not cool what people do. That's certainly true.
I love what you're saying here, because as you know, I'm very fond of saying audit your assumptions, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I think we do take for granted that there are rules that we ascribe to the business world that we think are just synonymous with business, and it's not necessarily so. We've made it so. We've assumed it so. So I love what you're sharing here. Now, how do you specifically and personally imbue spirituality into your business and in the practical things that you've got going on, whether they be projects or events or things like that?
Yes. So for about 2 years now, I have with my closest community, my closest friends, I have I have a phrase that I say constantly, and it is everything spiritual at this point. Everything spiritual. I say that all the time now, and I mean everything. I mean the rain. I mean the computers. I mean everything.
Yeah.
And because there is an aspect or where I have let the opportunity of my business where I connect my own spiritual journey with our mission statement for a company. So our company's mission statement is to create a new paradigm for being human and the expression of leadership in the world. And so that's our mission statement, and we connect with it once a week, the whole team.
Yeah.
And from there, well, what project are we going to take on so that our mission statement is being fulfilled? What projects? How are we addressing the needs that our clients have? And so as a result of that inquiry, one of our business partners, her name is Mariela, she was doing the transition from being a news anchor for many years for Univision. And she was like, I want to continue to empower the community. And we started meeting at 6:30 in the morning to look for ideas on how to continue to empower the Hispanic community. Inside of that context, a new paradigm for being human and the expression of leadership in the world. And initially, we were trying to enroll the CEO of Univision into this possibility, and he didn't turn us down. He gave us a new direction, and so we created, as a result of that, we created this event called the Latin American Conference for Transformation. And the way it was evolving, if you will, how it was organically growing. She was moving to Tampa, and the city of Tampa was kind of enrolled in this possibility. So they got enrolled, and they said, well, we're going to help you out a little bit so that you guys can start it here. Yeah. And so we started this conference in Tampa, and we reinvented ourselves. We had never done conferences before, and neither I did. I did workshops, but conferences kind of require a different kind of thinking, strategic thinking. And so that's how, in practicality, it's sort of connecting one's spirituality, if you will, and connecting one's mission statement, and see what shows up, what idea shows up, and then bring in the business structures. Yeah, because we do have goals for every month, right? We do have things specifically to achieve. We do look for impeccability with my word inside of what are the promises. However, they are under the context of our mission statement, and we don't say our spiritual purpose, but it is our spiritual purpose in many ways. We just don't say it that way, given that in a business setting, it doesn't quite fit in to say a spiritual purpose. But so that's how we've done it. And now we're, I shared the Daily Huddle 2 weeks ago, at the beginning of this week. Now we're bringing it to Atlanta at April 22nd and 23rd. Oh, nice. Really excited about that. In 2 weeks, it's going to be here. We have a little bit over 200 people now registered. Hopefully we can get the place to sell out and have a lot of fun in that context, create a new paradigm for being human. What
do you expect people to walk away with from that experience?
Our intention is to walk away with a whole entirely new point of view. That's the most intention. Telling people what to do, it rarely works. Telling people the best practices, but it rarely works. People have a lot going on in their heads. So telling people exactly what works, what doesn't work, usually doesn't work for people. But if we could shake the room enough, shake the conversation enough, that people disabuse themselves from a fixed point of view, from a fixed way of being, and they allow themselves to take on looking at life, looking at their family, looking at their business from really an entire different point of view, not a better point of view that I have, or less of something, not really an entirely different point of view. If we can create that, then that's the magic of the conference.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And where can people find out more about it and sign up?
Okay, well, I'm going to put it in the chat. Let me put it in the chat. The link is in Spanish.
Ah, is it
So,
going to be conducted in Spanish, right?
was that?
It's going to be conducted in Spanish, yeah?
Yes, it's going to be conducted in Spanish. However, we do have a company
Mhm.
that brings artificial intelligence to translate
Wow.
what people are going to be saying in Spanish, and we're going to put it into subtitles as people are speaking. That's super cool.
fantastic.
That just happened between this week. We didn't have that available. Now we do.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Transforma.
I'm going to read it. Here it is. Transformaelfuturo.com. Transformaelfuturo.com. I love it. It says transform the future in Spanish. This is great. And I love the theme of transforming the future because, as you know, we live the past, the present, and the future. The past and the future are all in our imagination anyways. Yes, the past happened, but how you interpret it is in your mind. And the future hasn't happened yet, and how you interpret it is also in your mind. The present is the only moment. That's why we say when we say what time is it here in the Daily Huddle, that is why people answer the time is now, right? And where I am right here, because the present is the only time that it actually exists. So I love that you're talking about transforming the future, because that is your choice point. Depending on your interpretation of it, or your intention, your commitments, and how you move thereafter, that is how you transform the future, moment by moment. So I'm going to open it up for questions for people. I want to hear from you. How do you imbue your business with your spirituality, and how do you deliberately, we're gonna use the theme of the conference, Giovanni. How do you deliberately transform the future? Or does that kind of happen by default with you? Let's talk about it. How do you use spirituality in your business, and how do you transform your future? Who has something?
Yes, I got some. Oh,
All right, let's hear it.
All right. So what I got out of this is, and I was listening to Gio talk about, at this point, the statement when you say at this point, everything is spiritual, is spiritual, and not really connecting it to a godly aspect in the business environment. So with that, are you attributing this like, okay, so you prepared, the opportunity will show up, and so you will move with whatever happened. Is that the feeling you're attributing that statement with?
Who are you asking?
Yeah, I really do give myself permission to combine both worlds that I'm pointing to. And I'm very playful with it. So I'm really intentional in having in the business world, for example, having a pipeline. I'm really intentional in having a pipeline. I'm really intentional in measuring how many new calls I'm doing a week. And I do measure it, or I'm really intentional in having a campaign on social media that is giving me new prospects to start a relationship with. So there are aspects of the business that are traditional, that are necessary and traditional. I'm really intentional with it. Where I bring spirituality is that I'm not attached to any of it. I'm not attached to make sure that I close this person, or any. No, I am not quite attached. But if I could be attached to something, I want to make sure the pipeline is growing. I want to make sure that I'm measuring it. I want to make sure that I have new conversations a week or a month. I'm going to make sure that the team is experiencing growth. So how am I measuring it? But the experience of it's not how I used to do it. Did you close? Did you not close? What happened? What's missing? And so there's pressure that if you don't grow, then you're not powerful or something. That I don't have that anymore. It's more like, oh, what did I learn from this? And interestingly, we continue to grow, but there's not an attachment like something is wrong
Yeah,
here. It's no longer there.
I like that answer, and you know, and it cleared up for me because I was going with it from another perspective, but it's really clearing it up with me. It's all in the statistic, but not in the individual. So that's thank you for answering, man. That makes a difference for me. Yeah, thank you.
That's good, really good.
Yes, we're very intentional. Very intentional without attachment.
Got it. Totally got it.
Yes.
Cece, you have something?
CC, yes.
Oh.
The spiritual aspect of business, from the direction which I understand is God is the one that's given me the ability to provide a service, to hire employees, to do everything. So since God has did this for me, I ask God to prepare me to be of service, prepare my employees to be of service, and whatever products that I sell or provide do bring customers value, and that everybody be safe and nobody gets hurt. And that's how I use the spirituality to the understanding where I'm at, just for God to help me, because without God I would have never had a business. So that's how I perceived what you were talking, what is the subject for today, and I passed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cici. I have a while ago I read the book from Malcolm Gladwell, The Outliers, and I really want to recommend that book. It's incredible. That man is a genius. And there is an aspect of the book that goes into the power of a culture. And cultures have proverbs. And there is a Russian proverb that says, if God does not bring it, the earth will not give it. That's a Russian proverb. But then there is this Chinese proverb, which is quite spiritual as well. It says, in winter, the lazy man freezes to death. Right? And they have one that I really love, which is, it says, no one who can rise before dawn 360 days a year fails to make his family rich.
Right. So the consistency of it.
So I like that one. I like the Chinese people's world, that surrender to your work, love your work. I love that one. And that one really empowers me. My old mentor used to say, luck comes with dirty overalls at 2:00 in the morning. And so that one empowers me. And that's how I kind of guide my spirituality, to think that way. What else can I do here? What one more person can I call?
Yeah.
What else could I do? And if I'm stressing, if this is overwhelming, if this is not joy, then it's not cool. Then I gotta drop it.
Yeah. Good stuff. So I thank you, Giovanni, for bringing us this conversation around bringing spirituality, or infusing, I should say, more deliberately and consciously and consistently, spirituality in business. Because I am a firm believer, to your point about everything is spiritual, I'm a firm believer that who we are as spiritual beings is the foundation for everything else that we do in the quote unquote mortal world, in our relationships, in our communication, in our fitness, in our business, and so forth. Obviously, because I host Spiritual Matters, right? So I want to thank you for bringing that up. I want you all, this is your homework for today, to go check out transformaelfuturo.com, transformthefuture.com in Spanish. AI is already taking the business world by storm. It'll take all of our parts of our culture by storm. I'm so happy that you've brought that in so that people can avail themselves of the conference with subtitles. And go check it out. It's happening April 22nd and 23rd. And as always, we always tell you here at the Daily Huddle to love generously, to laugh a lot, sleep at least 7 hours, stress less, eat more plant-based foods, move your tail feather, move your body, exercise, dance, whatever you do, give, and always audit your assumptions. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a great one.
And of course, I forgot.
Thank you, family. Thank you, family. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
What was that, Gio? What'd you say? Of course.
We
I
forgot the
forgot the
outro.
last video that Liz usually.
The outro. That's right. We're pulling it all ourselves today.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody.